success, failure, brainstorming, and using other words other than good. Because let's be honest, using good over and over and over again is just missing out on tons of great words that we can use instead and sound so much more persuasive, articulate, fluent, clear, engaging, interesting. Okay? So that's what we're doing today for episode 6. Welcome back, ESL Trailblazer, and very excited because you know what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build momentum. And with this episode, we're going to continue building it and hopefully make something happen. So here, let's get started right away, okay? So I want to start with the success and the failure. We think about it all the time from the moment we start school until we become professionals and then throughout our lives, personal and professional, okay? So we use a lot of expressions to talk about it. One of my favorites is a blessing in disguise. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Great expression. You need to use it, okay? We've all had a blessing in disguise at some point, maybe numerous times on a smaller level. What does it mean? It means that at the time we thought it was a failure. At the time we thought it was something that was terrible, a setback, something that was that really hurt. But then we realized later on that it ended up being a blessing in disguise. So it actually worked out. And it was good for us. What happened? Not good. What do we say? Splendid. Splendid. For instance, okay? Not for example, for instance. Mix it up. We talked about that last week with expressing opinions, okay? So something splendid happens instead and not terrible like we thought when we had this setback. So it was a blessing in disguise, okay? The next one is pays off, all right? Hard work, determination. What else? Well, hard work and determination, let's go with that. Pays off when you're in school working hard to get into the university you want to go to or get the grades that you want. It pays off to be dedicated in your work and to, be motivated and be passionate about what you do, okay? It pays off. That means that sooner or later you'll feel the progress, you'll feel the achievement, the success, okay? It pays off, all right? The next one is that it works like magic. It works like magic. Probably the most typical area we would use that in is that we know a trick or a shortcut or something that every time we do, it works like magic and we know we can depend on it. It's like the same expression, another one, does the trick. It does the trick. Maybe it's a spice that you add to a dish that everybody knows, but with this spice, your dish ends up being delicious, okay? And you have a couple tricks up your sleeve. I like always using that idiom, okay? Or it does the trick and it works like magic. It could be maybe a shortcut that you know on a computer program or software to get something done quickly and fast. It could be the spice, as I said, to add to the recipe. Or you're very good at fixing things or finding ways to repair them so that they still work for a time. It does the trick. Works like magic. Okay? Or it could be an expression that you use in the language that you speak or in English that every time you use, you know you're going to get a good reaction. And that comes to my second word for the day that's a replacement for good. I started with splendid. Here's the next one. Terrific! It's terrific! Okay, and someone might think you're terrific or might think that what you do for them is terrific, and that might always be the way that you works like magic or works like a charm is another popular way of saying that, okay? What's next? Success and failure. Let's move on. Makes all the difference, okay? That can be used as a comparative. When something makes all the difference, like determination and passion with your work, you see the results. You see what you have achieved, okay? It makes all the difference to work hard to get into the university you want to go to, okay? It makes all the difference when you care about what you're doing because then you put a little bit more effort into what you do, okay? It makes all the difference. So we're trying to distinguish between what can be maybe adequate or up to scratch and what can be outstanding. Did you see what I just did there? 3 words instead of using good. up to par, up to scratch. That means that it's acceptable, or it's okay. We're happy with it. No complaints. When you say that it's adequate, it's enough, but we're not necessarily really happy with it. Okay? The opposite, inadequate. These are good words. Better than saying not enough, not good, not good. Ugh, boring, not good. Up to scratch, up to par. Okay? So, success and failure, how does that sound? What else can we go with? Oh, I got two more for you. Two more phrasal verbs, okay? Keep up with the competition and stay ahead of the competition. Stay ahead of the trends. Keep up with the trends. Stay ahead of the fashion. Keep up with the fashion. It will probably be difficult to stay ahead of the fashion, but you can definitely stay ahead of the competition or your competitors, noun for the people that are competing against you. Okay? We stay ahead of them by being innovative, coming up with fresh ideas, brainstorming. Okay? Being creative. All right? We keep up by staying informed, being informed, knowing what the trends are. Okay? Whether in work or in our personal life, trends can describe anything. We're going to be doing an episode on that in the future, how to describe trends. Okay? Trends are for everything. Fashion, clothes, trends, anything that's popular right now. Popular in culture, popular to do in business, etc. Okay? All right, so that's it with success and failure. I've already given you the words for good, just to revamp it and build up the momentum on that. Up to scratch, adequate, superb, splendid, and terrific. Okay, those are the 5. Next week, I'll have another 5. That's going to be a little segment that I add now into this, okay? All right, what's left? The brainstorming. Very, very important that we brainstorm. I think we need to do it when we're planning trips. We need to do it when we're making future plans, like buying an apartment, renovating our house, meetings, brainstorm meetings at work with our colleagues. What can we use? What expressions can we use when we're brainstorming? So here's a couple of ideas. How do you feel about this idea? Or how does this idea strike you? 2 questions right there, okay? How do you feel about this idea? How does this idea strike you? 2 good ones that we can use when asking people for their ideas or their feedback on what you have said. Okay, would you consider trying something different? Would you consider? That's the beginning of the question. Would you consider? And then you can add whatever you want afterwards. Okay, so would you consider trying this, trying that, trying a different spice in the recipe, or would you consider trying a different approach, a new technique? Whatever the context is, okay? Finally, we said, how does this idea strike you? I'm trying to think of anything else. How do you feel about, we said that already. Would you consider? I think that's it. You can keep it simple with, I am thinking about. You can say, I am thinking about this. I'm thinking about adding this ingredient to the recipe. Or I'm thinking about changing the way we conduct meetings at the office, okay? The simplest question for feedback can be, what do you think about? Or what's your reaction? Okay, but I like the other ones better. All right, and what is your reaction? Your reaction to this stuff can be a whole different kinds of things. So you can say that I'm torn between having the meetings in the morning and having them in the evening. I'm torn between going on holiday to the Philippines or going to Thailand. All right, I'm torn between moving and changing the location to the other side of town, or staying in the center, moving to the outskirts. Good word. That means at the edge of the city. Okay? Let's go with when we make the decision and we decide this is what we're going to do. Okay? Let's go with. I think that's it for the brainstorming. I'll have more in the future about this. But for me, the success and the failure is the most important theme of our lesson today, as well as the good, the replacement for good. And I'm going to have that every week. All right? The brainstorming questions, I hope you found those valuable. That's it for this week. All right? I hope you enjoyed the episode. Build momentum. Let's make something happen. ESL Trailblazer. We're going strong. And I really would appreciate your feedback. And of course, as always, thank you for all the support and your feedback up to now. Would love to hear more from you guys. That's it. And have a good week. Hopefully you can implement some of that language that we covered today. Happy Monday. Go get 'em. build momentum. Subscribe.